What's up, everybody? Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. We are 4 days away from Monday Night Football when the Bears take on the Vikings at Soldier Field. Got a lot of fun content for you guys today, so stay tuned. But I would be remiss, Cullen, if we didn't get Michael Horowitz on the screen. Shout out to Michael Horowitz. Sending in a $50 super chat. He says, Bears win by 12 or less. I do have a poll up right now. How does Monday night play out? Bears win big, Bears win close, Vikings win big, Vikings win close. So go vote on that. But Horowitz, we appreciate you, and you're a real one. So shout out to Michael Horowitz.
Always good to see you, Michael. Hope you're doing well. And, let us know. How do you think week 1 for the Chicago Bears is going to go? I think personally, listen, it's going to be a good game. It's a divisional matchup, as we know.
I expect it to be close.
Yeah, I haven't given a final score prediction. I kind of want to save that for the watch party, so make sure you guys tune in. But it's definitely going to be a close one.
Yeah, my initial early week prediction was 24-21. I'll have a final prediction on a Sunday or Monday video. Just want to see these injury kind of situations play out a little longer this week. So we'll see if I shift at all. But that is where I sat early in the week. Shout out your city. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We got Wasim coming in with the super chat. Appreciate that as well. But, 4 days away. And we got football tonight.
Football.
Who do you like in the game tonight?
Bike.
Bike. So bike.
It's so bike. I like the Eagles. Not going to put too much thought or emphasis into it. Listen, the public is largely on the Eagles winning big, but you got to feel like if you're a Cowboys player right now, like leading up this close to the season, to trade away your best player away in a trade to Green Bay, a team that's kind of had a psychological, kind of ownership over the Cowboys over the last, however long. It's got to be deflating for them to come out in this week 1 game, especially short week and everything, prime time. Like maybe, I expect Dak and CD and George Pickens, like the passing game to be good, but I'm expecting the Eagles to roll in this one.
So you like Philly double digits then? You think
I would say
8.5?
Yeah, if it was 10.5, or if the line was set at 9.5, I'd be, Eagles.
Still take Philly?
Yeah,
okay.
Still.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, historically, Dak's really good against the NFC East, but there's just a lot of weird vibes in Dallas right now. I thought our Eagles host, Chase Sr., made a good point. Neither of these teams play guys in the preseason, so could it be kind of a slot fest early in the first half where it's just kind of choppy both ways? That wouldn't be stunning. Sometimes these games, you got the ring ceremony, all that stuff, the banner going up. It's almost like you're too jacked up. So it'll be interesting. That's a pretty big number. I don't mind. I wouldn't mind a little sprinkle on Dallas to cover there, but I do expect Philly to win.
So it's 8.5.
Yeah.
But, that is, again,
it's a large number. And the public's 90% on the Eagles.
Yeah.
There's the Vikings injury report, baby.
Oh, that's electric.
Yeah, if you want to grab it there.
Yeah, I'll grab it here in a second. But our good friend Wasim Khan.
Wasim.
He
He says FGB, F Minnesota, F Detroit, and Don Burr. Where you at, Donnie? We'll see you in week 2.
We'll see you,
Vikings,
baby.
Packers, Lions week 1 too.
Yes.
I mean, it's a big week in the NFC North to kick off this year.
Yeah, this is really going to be kind of I feel like a tone setter. I will say this, and we were talking to our Vikings host, Patrick Seaman, about this today. I think that first drive, really both sides, obviously, right? JJ making his first start, but from a Bears perspective, Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson going up against Brian Flores and that semi-revamped defense for Minnesota. It's going to be a big telltale of how, potentially this, not only the game, but the season goes.
How early is Flores bringing the kitchen sink? I mean, snap 1, is he bringing 6 or 7? I mean,
right.
It wouldn't
shock me.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'll grab that.
It'll be interesting. Dennis, how'd your fantasy lineups look? I did a family one. I got pick 2, Bijan Jacobs, Drake London, Ladd McConkey, McLaurin, Njoku, Stafford, Rams defense, scale of 1 to 10. Seems like a pretty good team. I mean, Stafford's a little risky with his back situation, but Bijan and Jacobs is your running back duo. You're going to be remiss to find a better RB punch than that. Here's my lineup real quick. Let me pull
Oh,
it
you
up.
did? You ended up doing fantasy. Hell yeah.
Well, I've had I run a league with high school buddies and
Gotcha.
that I've done and a couple college friends for it's been going forever. So I'll always do that one, but I don't I used to do 3-4 leagues a year. I don't do that anymore. Here's my team. Dak Prescott's my starting quarterback. I also have, I'll whisper, Jordan Love. He's my backup. James Cook, Travion Henderson, Malik Neighbors. I had the 9th pick, so I went Malik Neighbors. And then on the come around, the snake draft, I took Brian Thomas Jr.
Okay.
So my team name is the LSU Boys.
Okay.
I got Calvin Ridley. Dallas Goedert's my tight end. I got him super late. I didn't get a tight end early. I wanted to take Colston Loveland, but I got sniped. DeAndre Swift, I've got him in the flex spot right now. Seahawks defense. Jake Bates is my kicker.
Yep.
I drafted Jordan Addison. He's suspended, obviously. I took a lot of the guys that aren't playing early. I have him, Joe Mixon, and Brandon Ayuk.
Okay.
So we'll see how long I hang on to those guys. I did take Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. Jacoby Myers, which his value just went up. See ya, Amari Cooper. Darnell Mooney, and guess what I took in the last round? Olamide Zaccheaus.
Olamide Zaccheaus.
Just a little stash. See if he's a viable play. But yeah, that's my team. So
yeah, no, that'll. It's an interesting squad.
if Dak's healthy, I think he's putting up big numbers.
Yeah, I think Dak could potentially.
It wouldn't shock me if he was a top 5, top 6 fantasy quarterback.
Yeah, no, I think he could have a potentially big year. He could be QB1 with how much Dallas could be behind and everything.
Yeah.
It's not out of the realm of possibility.
He doesn't give you much rushing juice anymore, but I mean, he could have a Burrow light type of season from last year where he throws for 30-something touchdowns and 4,500 yards. I wouldn't be shocked by that.
Yeah, I also did the thing where I drafted Rashee Rice and Chris Godwin. So those are kind of wide receiver stashes for me.
Sit on those guys. Hope
Yep.
Hope they help you in the middle of the year and eventually a playoff run potentially. So
yeah, but I think overall doing good. Oh, Harry says Dennis asked, who are your running backs on your team?
I said James Cook, Travion Henderson. Pull it back up real quick. I took DeAndre Swift. And then I also have Krosky-Merritt. I'm sitting on Joe Mixon, who's hurt. And then I think that might be it. So I only have 4 healthy backs right now. So I'm a little thin at running back. I may have to go get one after week 1, depending on how it plays out. But, yeah, that's what I have so far. Dennis, Floose Hate Watch starts today. That's true. Floose. The Floose is going to be loose tonight.
The Floose is going to be loose.
Little Matt Eberflus action.
The Eagles might drop a 30 bomb by the end of the third quarter.
Could you imagine if it's a Floose masterclass? They hold Philly to 13 points.
Oh, if Dallas wins tonight, tomorrow I'm not even sure. Waking up is just going to be a very confusing sight for a lot of people. I don't.
Jerry's going to have a field day.
Oh, Jerry will have a masterclass, 100%. So.
Battling a little cold here, so hopefully we're in the clear come Monday night. But I'll be here rain or shine. That's a Graham guarantee.
100%.
Cornelius, I will be watching Packers-Lions. Yeah, me too. By the way, a little teaser, and Colin, if you want to throw the 4Verts link in the chat, if you want to grab that from somewhere.
I got it.
I'm going to be going live with longtime producer here, lead producer here, Sam Brown, who's actually in the studio right now doing some stuff behind the scenes.
No relation.
We're going to be going live. Yeah, no relation to Cullen, that we know of. For the noon games on Sunday, we'll be live on 4Verts. Kind of a little red zone action. We'll be simulcasting on our main Chat Sports channel, but go subscribe to 4Verts. Link is in the chat. We'll be bringing you all of the action from the early games. I don't think we're staying live for the 3 o'clock games, maybe for a little bit, but we'll be hanging out for those noon games. So if you guys want to come hang out, we will be there Sunday. And type me in the chat if you're going to join us Sunday. Because,
I'll give some shout-outs. But
it's week 1, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. Did you see what Steve slacked both of us?
I did not.
I'll give some shout-outs. Type those me's if you're rolling with us for week 1, Monday Night Football, baby. Let's go. I'll give shout-outs. Williams, typing me. He's going to be there. Let me know. Nick, shout out to you. John, typing those memes. Malcolm, Mike Nintendo Master. Martin, Monday Night Football. Yes, sir. Bumble Wall Street, Chicago Prod. Stephen Smith, Anthony Byram, Skepter, Antoine, Eddie, Bumble Wall Street, Dante, Rycob says the Bears can go 7-10.
By the way, winds shifting near the link. It's already windy. Clouds rolling in. If it rains, gas the Eagles. Dallas cannot run the ball.
No. Not
That is actually a bloodbath for Dallas if it rains.
Yeah, it will not be a pretty sight. Shout out to all the real ones in the chat. We've also now got Dennis saying, what's better, ESPN Plus or YouTube TV? It's mad confusing.
Well, the problem with the ESPN Plus or the new ESPN bundle deal, whatever you want to call it, is you don't get like Fox and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's cool you get all the ESPN content under one umbrella. That's great, but like I know YouTube TV's prices have gone up a little bit over the years, but I'm still a YouTube TV guy. You can DVR, you can pause, you can rewind, you get all the channels you need. It depends how much you want to spend. I mean, YouTube's about double, so yeah. I mean, there's no perfect answer these days, unfortunately. Gabriel, appreciate the deuce. Shout out to you, Gabriel Jimenez.
We're going to wait for these super chats to load up here, but I also want to know from you guys, because we're going to be talking about this today on the show, later in the show.
Yeah, I've got my bold predictions coming up. Give me your top bold prediction for 2025, Bears or otherwise. I will have my top Bears bold predictions, but let's hear it. Let's hear it in the chat.
Let's hear it.
Let's go.
I think favorite, I'll do non-Bears one, you guys. If you haven't seen already, I already put out my Bears Bowl predictions. This was back in, I think,
It's on the channel about a month ago, month and a half. It was like late July, maybe. Was it right before training camp?
I think it was right before training camp.
Probably mid-late July.
Yeah. Non-Bears bold prediction. Ashton Jeanty will not be the best rookie running back in the AFC West.
So not only not in the NFL, not in the AFC West.
Yes.
O'Marion Hampton. Okay.
That's what we're rolling with.
I like that take. I like that. That's a good, bold prediction. It's not outrageous, but it's a little bold.
It's a little bold. It's a little out there.
The average person wouldn't say that, wouldn't predict that. But you're anything but average. So
that is true. Appreciate
that's
that.
how it goes.
Likewise.
Cornelius, Fields versus Rodgers. Who you got? I mean, I'm never cheering for Rodgers, so give me the Jets, baby. Jets. That game could get ugly.
They might not get over
the under, baby.
They might not get over 20 combined.
I could see that being like 13-10.
Yeah.
Or 13-6.
10-7.
Yeah.
Like, it could be that bad.
Ohio State, Texas is just a slugfest.
It could be.
Yeah. It would be hilarious if the Jets won that game.
It would be.
DeJounte, who would you rather have as a personal trainer, Russell Wilson or Dan Campbell? Dan Campbell,
not
I hate
close.
the Lions, but Dan Campbell. I'd much rather hang out with Dan Campbell than Russell Wilson.
Listen,
that's not even close.
Russ is my guy. If I had to sit there and listen to him, like
motivation bullshit all day,
I would get sick of it.
At least with Campbell,
I would.
He'd just tell some wild stories, I bet.
He would. It'd be entertaining. You know, he'd be
Russ
engaging.
Is too cringe.
Yeah, Russ is just like, you'd get annoyed with him within the first hour.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
It's just like, leave me alone.
Antoine says, bold prediction, Bears will have a top 5 offense this year.
Bears will have a top 5. That's pretty bold.
That's bold.
A good one. That's a good, bold prediction.
DC says, Chiefs get upset by the Broncos and Chargers and miss the playoffs.
That's bold. A lot of people have the Chiefs, like, not winning the division. I wouldn't say I've seen many, they miss the playoffs entirely.
Yes. I've seen, like, some Broncos picks. I've seen, like, maybe one or two, like, Chargers, like, picking
Broncos have become like the trendy one ever since Slater got hurt.
Yeah.
It feels like people that aren't picking the Chiefs are picking Denver, it feels like. So we'll see. I still have the Chiefs winning the West. Part of the reason why I'm sticking with them is the fact that Josh Simmons just struck a hold of that left tackle job right away.
Plug and play. Of course the Chiefs get
unbelievable.
A franchise left tackle, and yeah, all as well.
Look, I love Colston Loveland. I think he's going to be awesome. But if Josh Simmons is a 12-year, like, high-level left tackle, that kind of sucks. Now, he went 20 picks later. It's not like the Bears were the only team. But, like, damn. Like, if he's the best left tackle from this draft.
It also is just, like, the reminder of the fact that a guy you took in the second, which, again, not first-round draft capital, is slated to be your backup right tackle for this year. Like,
I know, it's not ideal.
You got to have guys that contribute, especially when you draft them day 1 and day 2. You really do.
No doubt about it. All right, we'll get to this super chat, and then we'll get rolling here. We got a lot of content to get to. Dennis, 7 NFC playoff teams if the Bears make it. Who doesn't? Well, I want to do like a 4 verts. I don't know when I'm going to squeeze it in, but I'm going to try. Maybe I just put it out early Sunday morning or something, but I want to do my like 2025 NFL predictions of like AFC playoffs, NFC playoffs, and then maybe do like MVP, Rookie of the Year predictions, Coach of the Year, all that stuff, all into one video. But how about this? Stay tuned. I'm actually going to go through some NFC North predictions in our first segment, so I don't want to give too much away. But yeah, if the Bears make it, that means at least one of the other NFC North teams likely doesn't. I mean, technically all 4 from a division can make it now, but the odds of that are almost 0.
Yeah.
It's possible with the extra wild card, but
yeah,
we haven't seen it become close yet.
I will say I gave my full NFL predictions today. What do you guys think? Do you think I had the Bears making the playoffs, yes or no? Let me know.
Yes or no? Did Cullen pick the Bears to make the playoffs?
Yeah, I went through. I gave.
Did I threaten his job before?
Possibly.
No, I did not. I actually didn't even know he was putting these out today.
No. Harry was. He was actually like, "Oh yeah, you do these," and I was like, "Yeah."
Michael Martin say yes. Bum of Wall Street says no.
JJ, that is incorrect.
He picked both the Seahawks and the Bears to make it, and you actually had the Bears ahead of the Seahawks, right?
I did.
So you had your 3 wild cards were Detroit, the 5 seed, the Bears, the 6 seed, Seattle, the 7 seed.
I did. No Commanders making the
playoffs. He does have the Packers winning the division. So let me ask you this. If you revisited your Bears bold predictions after the Micah trade, would you say a split now?
You'll have to wait and see.
Because
we're talking about it on the.
We are talking about. Okay, all right. Because
we're talking
if they're winning the division, if they get swept by the Bears, they better be doing great on the rest of that schedule. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, listen, we'll talk about it. We do have a couple of super chats we're going to get to, but as Harry mentioned, we've got a lot of content.
Yeah, we'll get to those super chats after our first segment. We do have a mailbag coming up, so we'll get to those then. If you're ready for Bears football, hit that like button. Almost 500 people watching. Like the video. Let's get over 100 likes here. Here's what we got coming up here on the show, the latest news and injury updates. Within that first segment, I'm also going to go through my 2025 NFC North predictions. We will take your questions. Hashtag Bears or Super Chat. If you Super Chat, it's a guarantee to get on the show. But we'll work in as many hashtag Bears questions as well. A little ESPN report that I want to react to pertaining to Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson. And then I've got my 5 Bears bold predictions that we do every year right before week 1. That's all coming up here on Chicago Bears Now. So stay with us here on a busy Thursday. I'm Harrison Graham. Here's what we got coming up on Chicago Bears Now. We have the latest injury reports for both the Bears and the Vikings as we are 4 days away from Monday Night Football. Plus, going to go through my 2025 NFC North predictions and kind of see how this division plays out. So stay tuned for that. But our Week 1 sub-battle is ongoing. This runs through the game on Monday night. We have a lead over Vikings now, 168-111. My guy Patrick Seatman, he has challenged us, and you guys have delivered. So if you want free and daily Bears content and want to take down the Vikings, all you got to do is subscribe today. Okay, the Bears injury report today are estimates because they practiced yesterday. It didn't practice today, so I think these are likely based on what took place in yesterday's practice at Darrisaw, so keep that in mind. But here's what we got. The 3 DNPs did not practice. Josh Blackwell, who is being labeled as a groin injury. TJ Edwards, more on that in a second, dealing with the hammy. Jaylon Johnson did not practice with that foot injury. They labeled Jaylon Johnson and Kyle Monangai as limited, as Jalen's had that groin issue and a calf labeled in there as well. Monangai with a hamstring. Devin Duvernay and Dominic Robinson were full, so they should for sure be good to go. Do want to spend some time on TJ Edwards here because this one's kind of snuck under the radar. He left practice last week. We didn't know what the injury was, and it's labeled as a hamstring. Even like a basic grade 1 hamstring strain is typically like 2 weeks. So that puts Monday Night Football, that's kind of right on the border. If he doesn't practice tomorrow, I would guess he's out. And so that leaves us wondering, what is the plan at linebacker? Now, Noah Sewell has kind of emerged as the third guy. He's been working at Sam, obviously, but also when he's played one of the 2 primary positions, it's been middle linebacker. Well, that is Tremaine Edmonds' position. So does Noah Sewell play weak side if TJ is out? Do you slide Tremaine over and Noah Sewell plays middle? Or do you play Ruben Hippolyte at weak side, leave Noah Sewell as that third Sam linebacker where he's been working at mostly? Because Hippolyte has more speed, which is more ideal for that weak side position than a Noah Sewell, who's more of that middle linebacker type. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they kind of move the chess pieces around if TJ Edwards can't go. That would be a big blow if he can't play in this game. So keep an eye on that. I think as far as Jaylon Johnson goes, obviously the arrow's pointing up in terms of his availability. I think tomorrow will be a good indicator. Is he a full participant in Friday's practice? Saturday will be probably a lighter practice, more of a walkthrough before kind of the final preparations on Sunday. So I think tomorrow will be a big day when it comes to Jaylon's status for this ball game. Let's shift to the Vikings now. Not at practice today. Christian Darrisaw, the left tackle, who has been healthy throughout training camp, but they've been kind of managing his workload coming off that torn ACL. And then Harrison Smith, the veteran safety. More on him in a second. But Kevin Seifert had the note, Vikings reporter, that these two guys were out. He also noted that Darrisaw did practice yesterday, but his short-term trajectory would be up to the medical staff and Kevin O'Connell. Obviously, the game is in 4 days. These are two key starters, not just like normal, like everyday starters. Like it's the blindside protector for J.J. McCarthy in his first start, and the veteran safety who kind of directs traffic defensively when it comes to Harrison Smith. Now, when it comes to Darrisaw, Ben Gosling, another Vikings reporter, may have added a little context here with him. He said Darrisaw was out there yesterday, so it's likely planned as part of his ramp-up. First injury report of the year will be out later today, which we do have here in a second, which we'll show in just a moment. But this could be one of those that, like, they don't want him practicing back-to-back days, so maybe practice Wednesday, off Thursday. He'll practice tomorrow, so we'll keep an eye on Friday's injury report. But this is how things sit at this point in time. Obviously, Darrisaw dealing with that knee. Jalen Naylor feels like he's good to go. He was a full participant there as well. Xavier Scott did not practice with an ankle. Harrison Smith with an illness. Andrew Van Ginkel was full with a neck. He missed some time in camp. And then Elijah Williams did not practice with the hamstring. I'm wondering with Harrison Smith, because they were labeling this a personal health issue. Our Vikings host said he has not practiced since August 11th. Like, does he have mono or something? Like, an illness that lingers like this, it's, it's not just like your everyday flu or cough or, COVID or whatever. Those things go away after a week. I mean, it could be long COVID, as doctors call it sometimes. You do see rare cases of that. I'm wondering if he has mono. Like, remember back in the day, Sam Darnold was out for like 6 weeks because he had a bad case of mono. So keep an eye on that. I mean, he hadn't practiced in a month. So that's certainly a notable situation here. All right, predict the score. Bears, Vikings. Who wins and what is the final score going to be in this one? My early score prediction was 24-21 Bears. I'm going to have a final score prediction before the game on Monday based on, these injury reports. I could be subject to change here, but give me your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, we got more to come, including my NFC North predictions, and the Bears did work out some players today. But first, today's show is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Football is finally here, and I'm fired up for Week 1. I made some money over the college football weekend. Shout out to Josh Hoover. Also, shout out to Arch Manning for not playing that well. I was kind of not excited about what he was going to do, and I was right about that. And now I'm ready for the big boys to get going, which starts tonight. It's very easy to play Prize Picks, as you just pick more or less on stat projections on 2 to 6 player lineups. If you get your lineup right, you can win up to 2,000 times your money. Prize Picks also invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if your picks don't hit. Clock is ticking. Kickoff is tonight. Take advantage right now on the deal of Dak Prescott more than half a passing yard. I've paired that with DeAndre Swift more than 68.5 rushing and receiving yards. $20 entry to win $60. That game kicks off pretty soon, so take advantage. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in the lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in the lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. It's Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Okay, grab some water here. Before we get to my NFC North predictions, The Bears worked out, quick math, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 players, it looks like. And obviously, we knew about Isaiah Foskey. That's the one that's going to catch all of our attention. Second-round pick from a couple years ago. Local guy out of Notre Dame. I loved him coming out, long arms, playing under Dennis Allen in New Orleans. I would like to add him to the practice squad. We'll see what happens. Rest of these guys, be honest, I don't know much about. Now, the guy, Zach Banner, at the top of that list, the tackle, he has not played in the NFL since 2021. So that is certainly an interesting one. He was a backup tackle for the Steelers a few years back. So that is certainly interesting. But they worked out several players today. So keep an eye on that, including several defensive ends, which, of course, is a position we've talked about all offseason. So we'll see if they add any of those players to the practice squad or, hell, the active roster. I'd be surprised on that one, but we'll have to wait and see. Excuse me. All right. NFC North predictions. I'm going to predict how this division ends up playing out. Now, this is how it played out last year. Obviously, it was this epic race between the Lions and the Vikings. Green Bay was in it for a while before they faltered a bit. Obviously, both teams were 14-2 in Week 18, and then Detroit blasted Minnesota. Green Bay finished 11-6, and then we know what happened with the Bears. Shout out Matt Eberflus, losing 10 games in a row after starting 4-2. And then obviously beating Green Bay in that last game. So that's how it played out last year. Here's how I see it playing out this year. I do think the Lions win the division for a third straight year. I just, clearly the coaching exits, that's a real question. Ben Johnson leaves. How does that impact Jared Goff? Aaron Glenn leaves. They lose Frank Ragnow. I'm not acting like they're going to run away with this division. I don't think they or any other team will win 15 games. But even if they have like a 10, 12% regression, they're still probably going to win 11 or 12 games. So I've got the Lions winning the division. Don Berg, congratulations to you. I hope I'm wrong, but that's how I see it playing. And before you guys freak out, you're not a real Bears fan. Do you want me to blow smoke or do you want me to tell you how I see it? Because that's how I see it. I think they have the most talent in the division. If their defense just stays healthy this year, they'll be better on that side of the ball. I do think the offense will take a slight step back without Ben Johnson, but is Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Penei Sewell and Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, these guys just going to forget how to play football? I doubt it. They've been rolling for a while now, so I have Detroit winning the division, probably at 12-5. Okay, wild card team. I do have the Packers making the playoffs. I was debating between them and Minnesota as the last place team before the Micah Parsons trade, and I know Micah's got this back thing going on. If he's healthy, Green Bay, FGB in the chat, is a playoff team. They just are. We can all shit on the Packers. We can say this. We're not completely sold on Jordan Love, but even the not great version of Love is still a solid player. If Micah stays healthy and gives them a pass rush presence, I just think they're too good to not make the playoffs. Good news. I also have the Bears making the playoffs. I have 3 teams coming out of the North for a second straight year. The Bears are in, and we'll get to the Vikings in a minute as they are out. I think the Bears double the win total, get in at 10-7. I just think the coaching staff is so much improved. The offensive line, left tackle, we'll see, but is going to be better across the board outside of potentially left tackle. You've added more weapons there. And, we'll see on the pass rush, but I still think the defense will at least be above average. I think the offense will take a notable jump and they'll win 10 games. And then lastly, I have the Vikings missing the playoffs. I still think they're going to be good. This roster is loaded. But J.J. McCarthy's a complete unknown. And just like when the Vikings in 2022 made the playoffs at 13-4, they had this outrageous record in one-score games. That happened again last year. They were 9-1 in one-score games. And then in 2023, the year in between the playoff years, that kind of flipped. Now, it's not guaranteed to flip, but are they going to be this dominant in one-score games again and lead the NFL in takeaways? Those are metrics that typically even out over time. They could still be a very good defense and be 9th in takeaways, right? They could still be good in one-score games and be 6-4 in those instead of 9-1. And J.J. McCarthy has not taken a single snap in the NFL. It's reasonable to think there's going to be some growing pains. If he lights it up immediately, listen, Kevin O'Connell's just phenomenal. And maybe that'll happen, but I've got the Vikings on the outside looking in. I still think they'll probably win 8, maybe even 9 games, but I think all 4 teams are between 7 and 12 wins. with the Lions winning the division, the Packers earning a wild card spot, and the Bears earning a wild card spot. Who do you guys think will end up winning the NFC North? If it's the Bears, type CHI. If you think it's the Lions, like me, unfortunately, type DET. If you think it's the Packers, FGB. Vikings, MIN. Get your votes in down in the comments below. My name is Harrison Graham. It all gets going this weekend. Well, tonight, if you're in the NFC East. So that is very, very exciting. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. Let's take down Vikings Now in subscribers this week. All right.
So we showed this one already, so that means it's Bears. Fan says, if you consider J.J. McCarthy a rookie in their first game, 16, 35-1, and if the Bears are 2 or 3 games over 500 by the trading deadline, do you see them trading for a good defensive end? So, a lot to take in here. The Vikings
disregard me blowing my nose.
Here, do you want me to take you off screen?
No.
Okay. I think they could trade for a defensive. Now, they did add a lot on their defensive line. This offseason, they had Javon Hargrave. They
You
added
predicted
Jonathan
that polls would make a splash at the deadline. That was one of your Bears' bold predictions.
Yeah. I maybe misread the question. Could the Bears absolutely? Yeah. Like I said, Granderson from the Saints,
Carl Granderson.
Carl Granderson, thank you. I couldn't remember his name.
Dennis Allen Connect.
Dennis Allen connection, I think, is likely. I think Bradley Chubb for Miami, if they get off to a rough start, maybe Mike McDaniels in hot water, that could be an option. Do the Giants pivot off Kayvon Thibodeau? I think they're going to really try to give that NASCAR package, a good run for their money.
Yeah, if they're like 2-5, though, do you try and get something for them? I could see that. That stat in terms of rookie quarterbacks in their first start, I mean, sure, from a logic standpoint, but he's not a rookie technically. So, but I mean, I think the logic applies in terms of, look, rookie first start in the NFL on the road, basically in his hometown, prime time. Maybe not an elite defense, but a good one, I think, that Dennis Allen's going to deploy. Like, that's tall order for J.J. McCarthy. Like, this is not going to be an easy environment for him to walk into and play well. So, if he does, kudos to him, because it's a big spot for both these quarterbacks, really, but even more so for J.J., in my opinion. Okay. Harrison's clean desk. Appreciate the 5 bold prediction. Don Berg gets come on, guys. Let's be reasonable here. Cornelius, if I had to go back and grade the Bears draft, knowing what we know about all the players, the grade wouldn't be that good. Well, we haven't played a game yet. Don't get me wrong. Am I frustrated that all 3 of the second-round picks, none of them are starters? Yeah, that's not ideal. But those picks aren't just about week 1 of their rookie year. It's about the rookie contract and if they're good enough to get a second contract. So I don't think it's like a panic time situation. But, yeah, if we get to the end of this season, Cullen, and the 3 of Luther Burden, Shamar Turner, and Ozzie Trapillo, if 1 or less has a notable impact, not great. Like, that's not where you're looking for when you draft in the second round.
So, a couple of things here. One, Luther Burden was kind of a pick that fell to them, right? They weren't expecting. They really didn't even have Luther Burden on their radar. It's part of the reason why they went out and signed Olamide Zaccheaus. You already have DJ Moore. You already have Roma Dunze.
Luxury pick.
Exactly. It was a luxury pick. And not only that, Zaccheaus is on a 1-year contract. Now, again, depending on how he plays this year, maybe the Bears bring him back. Maybe he doesn't. DJ Moore is a potential guy that they could not have next season. So Luther Burden's role could drastically change just after this season alone. Shamar Turner, listen, you added Grady Jarrett. It's a very deep room. I mean, Harry and I think both agree that you should have gone edge there rather than defensive tackle. But regardless, like, there's room for elevation in that room.
Also, Billings is in the last year of his deal.
Yep.
Jarrett's 32. So, like, I think out of the 3, that was the one, and I even said it on draft night, like, I kind of feel like that's probably more of a 2026 and beyond type of play. The Trapillo one's probably the most disappointing because I think they felt like he could win that left tackle job, and he just hit a wall. And so they had to kind of pump the brakes on that. So that's probably the one I'm concerned about the most. Look, Burden's going to be good. He may not have like a full-time role right away, but like if his head's screwed on straight, we've seen the talent already. Like, he can play in the NFL at a high level. I don't have any doubts about that. Shamar Turner, he's been hurt and he's buried on the depth chart right now because he doesn't have the reps. I think we just kind of have to take this year for what it is for him. We'll see what happens. Could he be one of those guys that, like, by November, you're like, oh, there's Shamar Turner. That was a nice play. Like, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah.
But I also wouldn't be surprised if we didn't say his name at all before the bye week. Like, that's very much a possibility. And then Trapillo, I do think the good news is if Darnell Wright were to get hurt, I think he'd be fine to just plug in and play a right tackle. Did that for multiple years at Boston College, so obviously we don't want that to happen, but yeah, he's the one that going into next year you wonder, like, what is his role on this team, especially if Darnell has a good year. Like, is he ready to be the left tackle next year? Do you move Darnell next year to left tackle? Like, that'll be the big question, but
yeah. The thing is like if Trapillo was even the backup left tackle, not even the starter, if he was just listed as the backup left tackle, let's say they put Benedict over on the right side, Bears fans would have a more positive outlook. It's like, okay, Trapillo didn't win the job, but at least, okay, Braxton's kind of, taking the reins here, let Ozzie develop a little bit, let him become the left tackle. Like, there's a plan in place, whereas it feels like...
I did hear yesterday, I think Adam Hogue or someone said this on CHGO, I think, and kudos to them. I think they had this note that Trapillo last week did get a few reps at left tackle again. So, like, I don't think they're punting on that at all. I think they just kind of wanted to, like, take the pressure off a little bit, put him back where he's more comfortable. So I don't think they're done with him at left tackle. But obviously it got to a point where he wasn't going to win the job initially. I still do wonder, like, if Braxton has some struggles after the bye week, would they pivot to either him or Benedict? So here's my question too, Colin. Braxton Jones goes down on Monday night. Is it for sure Benedict's going in, or would they put Trapillo in? Because I don't know if we have a clear answer to that. I mean, I know Benedict's listed as the backup left tackle. I would guess it's him, but maybe it's not. Do they not have a true swing? Do they just have a backup left and a backup right?
My question to you would be, do you really think it would be smart to put a rookie in who you've already kind of, again, maybe there's different things said behind the scenes or whatever, but there's somebody that you've openly to the public said, hey, you are a backup right tackle, right?
Yeah.
Like, so like
you're not ready to be the left tackle. Yeah, I mean, it's fair. It's kind of because look, as exciting as the Benedict stuff was, he is a UDFA from last year out of Canada.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. That's just interesting to me. Like, it kind of feels like they don't really have a true swing. Like, if the left tackle goes down, Benedict's going in. If the right tackle goes down, Trapillo's going in, which is fine. I mean, I have no problem with that, but it's kind of interesting. Michael Horowitz again.
Can we give a boom for Horowitz? He did get 250s.
Michael Horowitz. Boom. Thoughts on Zach Banner working out? Hasn't played since 2021. Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. I don't know if he's been working out. I have no idea if he's played in, like, these spring leagues or whatever, so I'll have to look more into that. I don't know what to make of it. If he had a great trout and they want to put him on the practice squad, sure. I don't think he's, I don't think he's coming in to be your left tackle. I'll put it that way. But, yeah, I mean, definitely caught my attention for sure. Posey, I think we're missing the big picture. I only care about the offense and Caleb. If we use this year to evaluate everyone on offense and it proves Caleb is the franchise, it's a successful season. No doubt. But Ben Johnson also said yesterday there's no reason why we can't win this year. Like, don't get me wrong. I would say the singular most important thing for this season is that by the end of the year, you feel confident that Caleb is your long-term franchise quarterback. But also, if you feel that way, doesn't that probably mean you want a decent amount of games? Like, I think those kind of go hand in hand. So I'm with you, Posey, but at the same time, I don't want to be like, well, if they win 5 or 6 games, but Caleb looks like the guy, successful season. I think you got to at least, like, be in the mix, like, come December to at least push for a wild card spot along with Caleb playing well. Like, if those two things happen, you miss the playoffs, win like 8 or 9 games, you're on the outside looking in. All right, like, cool. Like, Caleb's the guy. You were close. Next year, you're ready to take a big jump. Like, yeah, I would accept that. But if they're like 5, 6 wins, Caleb plays somewhat better. I don't know if I'm like doing cartwheels. So just have to see. Context is everything on how it plays out.
Agree. Yeah.
Beast Mode, do you think the Bears could make a run? I mean, I just predicted them to be a playoff team. I think there's enough ingredients there. If certain things happen, they can be a playoff team. I don't think they can be a Super Bowl team. Unless something surprises us, Colin, from a pass rush standpoint, I think the only way they could be a Super Bowl team is if the offense is like legit. It's like a top 8, top 10 unit, and they make a big time splash at the deadline. Like, go get a dominant pass rusher. Like, I don't even know who that would be, but I just don't think – I feel like all major contenders have that dude on the defensive line. Like, think about recent years with the Chiefs, Chris Jones. With the Eagles, I mean, they may not have had the one guy, but they had like 8 really good ones last year, right? The Patriots always had dudes on the defensive lines getting after the pass. Like, you have to have Denver, your boys, Seattle with the Legion, but like you have to have some – dominant element to your defense, and I think in the modern game it's a pass rusher. I just don't think the Bears have that. So I think it's going to be a little tough to be a Super Bowl contender, but I think they can be a playoff team. Here's
what I'll say. If you think about the 3 most important positions on the football
Aaron
field,
Donald.
It's quarterback, left tackle, and pass rusher. The Bears have question marks, especially at left tackle and pass rusher.
Yep.
And the quarterback's in a new offense, again.
Still somewhat unknown.
So there's a lot there that needs to be resolved in terms of, again, and that's simplifying it to a very finite degree. But, look, the Bears, can they? Sure. I don't think as currently constructed, I see this team going on a magical run. I don't.
They're probably realistically, they're probably like 2 blue chippers away from being in the mix for that type of team. 2 blue chippers and then like some young guys taking the next step.
Yeah. So I'm getting some guys, that are, fringe starters into like that good category. We did the tiers earlier in the offseason.
Yep.
Getting those, good guys into blue chips, as you mentioned, like you really have to take a step up. Like Rome Odunze's got to step up. Tremaine Edmonds, is this a defense that's going to suit him? He needs to get back up into
a guy like Gervon Dexter, maybe not blue, but like a high-end red player. Can he be like an 8-sack guy? Like, you still have young pieces that need to ascend to kind of enter that category. Gregory, Bears 26, Vikings 20. I'm in. Any prediction that has the Bears winning, I'm in. So, appreciate that. All right, hashtag Bears or Super Chat. It is time for a mailbag here. If you Super Chat, it's a guarantee to get on the show. We'll start with
Daily AI.
Daily AI. I don't know how to pronounce the first part of that. It almost looks like wedgie, but like in pig Latin.
We'll call him Daily.
Daily AI seems the way to go there. But hashtag Bears or Super Chat. Fire in questions. Ask about the game. Ask about the division. Whatever. If you have trade ideas, fire them in there. We'll take your questions for the next 10, 12 minutes or so. Off the top of this mailbag, we'll have a little kind of a angle of this matchup that hasn't been discussed, at least on this channel yet. So we'll kind of kick it off with that, but we will answer some questions as well. So get a couple more in there, then I think we'll be in a good spot.
Yeah, I think we're
coming off the top here. Make sure this is nothing.
I know. I'm like constantly like Amari Cooper retired today. Like anything could possibly happen. At this.
I mean, how unreal was that?
It was just.
3
it was
days
so
before the opener.
It was so Raiders.
See ya.
It was.
It's
so
always
Raiders.
the Raiders, man. They're something special.
They really are,
and not in a good way.
Antoine says, "I'm a Bears fan. Nice hat. We do. Your hair's
not wearing a hat, but if you mean like the
we actually have one over there.
The Bears Now hat, I do have one over here. I think I can reach it.
Nice. Voila.
We'll be raffling some of these off throughout the season. So
yeah.
Shout out. Appreciate you.
Yeah, we got headsets on, not hats, but
yeah, exactly.
We do have hats that we sell.
Appreciate everybody rocking with us. Let's get into our mailbag coming up next. Coming up in a few minutes, it is time for a Chicago hashtag Bears mailbag. Get your questions in by super chatting or using hashtag Bears. But do want to kick off this show by talking about a matchup in this Week 1 game that I don't think has been heavily discussed. Definitely not on this show. So I wanted to spend some time on it today. as we dive into a key matchup. And it's not a position matchup, it's a coaching matchup. And that is Ben Johnson, the Bears head coach and play caller, versus Brian Flores, the Vikings defensive coordinator and defensive play caller. Ben Johnson, the last 2 years since Flores entered the NFC North with the Vikings, 2023, 2024, Ben Johnson's had his number 4-0 against Flores, and not just from a win-loss standpoint. Look at these results as in 2023 in Week 16, the Lions dropped 30 points and almost 400 yards. Same thing in Week 18. It's kind of, the numbers are eerily similar. It's kind of bizarre. 30 or 31 points in all 4 of the matchups in between 381 and 400 yards in all 4 of these games. He has been very lethal and very productive against Brian Flores in the 4 matchups. Now, listen, it's a different deal, obviously. He's the head coach now, new team. But even more context here, Ben Johnson has delivered 4 of the 7 performances in which Flores and the Vikings have given up 30 or more points in the last 2 seasons. That's over half. So this has been a on-field X's and O's masterclass by Ben Johnson in Detroit, which obviously is now in Chicago, going up against Minnesota and Brian Flores. Even more so, Dan Orlovsky added this today. Ben Johnson's offense hung 122 points in 4 games against Brian Flores the last 2 years. 16 touchdowns, 14 punts. So he's finding the end zone more than he's punting. That would be fun in Chicago. That's why you hire Ben Johnson, because we haven't had an offense like this. And listen, the disclaimer is obviously new personnel. He's also the head coach now, which means he has a lot of other responsibilities. So I'm not necessarily saying book the Bears for 30 points and 385 yards. What I am saying, though, is he has found solutions against Brian Flores' blitz-heavy scheme and exotic scheme, which not many teams and coaches have over the last couple of years. So I do feel good about that he has experience going up against this guy and has had a lot of success. I want to know from you guys, though. You predicting 30-plus? Will the Bears score 30-plus points against the Vikings? Type Y for yes, type in for no. Full disclosure, I am not predicting 30-plus points. If the Bears score 30, I think they're going to win this game. I'll tell you that. But I do feel like Ben will scheme things up that are in position to beat Flores in the defense, and it's just up to Caleb in the offense to execute those specific play calls. So definitely excited about that. All right, mailbag questions here. We start with Avery with the super chat. Sweat has been a Pro Bowler recently, and Dexter could take that step. Yeah, I think Gervon Dexter is one of the young players on this team. Year 3 for a defensive lineman often is like that year where you see that big jump. I think the scheme suits him better. I think he could be in line for a big, big season in Dennis Allen's defense. We got Daily AI here. He says, if the Bears win 5 or 6 games, it'll be a failed season. A lot of accountability needs to happen. What would that look like? If the Bears win 5 or 6 games, I think a couple of things would have had to have happened. 1, Caleb just flopped. That would be one scenario. 2, Caleb got hurt and Bagent couldn't win enough games. 3, you just had a ton of injuries, just like detrimental injuries, and you just got buried. 4, I mean, I guess something coaching related, but like I feel pretty confident in this coaching staff. I don't think we're going to be looking at these games and if they lose and being like, God, that was a coaching disaster class. Doesn't mean there won't be mistakes and bad play calls and, you know, a situational mistake here and there, but I don't think this is going to be a Matt Eberflus situation where like he doesn't even know how to call a timeout. But yeah, I think that if they only win 5 or 6, that probably means that Caleb didn't take the proper steps and the defense wasn't as good as we thought it could be. So, which is, you know, would be different from last year, but similar in terms of wins and losses. All right, today's show is sponsored by the Hall of Fame app. Check it out today. Make smarter bets. Use code CHAT for a discount. We'll tell you about that discount in a second. Football is back, and I don't know about you, but there's nothing worse than barely losing on a multi-team parlay. That happened to me in week 0 of the college football season, but I teamed back up with the HOF app, and I had a much better week 1 of the college football season, looking to carry that over into this weekend as well. Smart bettors rely on data, and the HOF app hands you powerful analytics at your fingertips to tilt the odds in your favor. HOF is your go-to for building smarter parlays. No more missing by one leg, as HOF gives you all the probabilities and insights you need to succeed. The HOF app was created by Ivy League sports geeks to let everyday sports fans bet smarter. With a 4.9 rating in the App Store on over 7,000 reviews, it's safe to say the 1 million total users and counting are benefiting from the HOF app. For a limited time only, our listeners not only get a 7-day free trial, but they also get 50% off their first month when they use code CHAT at checkout. Just download the HOF app on iOS or Android today. Enter code CHAT and you are all set. That is code CHAT, C-H-A-T. Link to download the app in the comments and description of this video. Check out the HOF app right now. All right, we got time for some more questions. Posey says, appreciate the 10. Appreciate all the super chats. Well, 5 or 6 games, dropping the games 28 to 35. I don't know what you're saying here. Remember, Detroit had to score a bunch of points to win. Caleb can throw for 4,030 touchdowns, but team only win 8 or 9 games. Yeah, like, look, if they go 8 and 9, and it's obvious Caleb took a step forward, and maybe the defense just underachieved, I would rather go 8 and 9 with the defense underachieving than the offense underachieving. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you told me by the end of the year Caleb's the guy, I'm not saying nothing else matters, but that is the most important thing that matters. Daniel Lawson saw Zach Banner played for the Houston Roughnecks per Pin Live. Lost 70 pounds in a bid to get back in the NFL. Yeah, if you're watching later, we're live on Thursday doing this mailbag. Zach Banner was among 11 Bears tryouts, has not played in the NFL since 2021. Worked out, former Steelers offensive tackle. So certainly a name that caught my attention. Hopefully this thumbnail catches your attention, because if you see this on your YouTube feed come Monday night, that's us. We are live for Bears versus Vikings Monday Night Football. We'll go live at the latest 6 o'clock Central Time to get you ready for kickoff. Might even do 5:30, 5:45. Myself, producer Cullen, we're jacked up for week 1. We'll get you ready for kickoff. We'll have some raffle opportunities, live play-by-play reaction, and, of course, our post-game show as well. Do not miss out. Bears, Vikings, week 1. You see this thumbnail, you're in the right place. Subscribe. You'll see this pop up on your feed. All right, Marcus, $5. Appreciate it. Has Dennis Allen ever gone against the Vikings? How do you think he will match up against the Vikings? Coach, FGBF, the Vikings. I will look at the Saints' schedule since Kevin O'Connell has been the head coach in Minnesota, and we will have some prep on that for the pregame show at the latest, but maybe on a video before kickoff as well, because that's a good question. I don't think they played last year, so I'll have to look into that, but I'm sure chances are they've played since KOC's been the coach, so stay tuned. We will have more on that. DC Viper, assuming the Bears wait till the trade deadline, which do you think is a higher need, left tackle or edge, or will the Bears just play it out? I still think it's edge. Like, I think with the rest of that offensive line, and especially Joe Thuney playing next to the left tackle, I think you can get by there. I'm not convinced this edge group's very good. I'm hopeful Montez Sweat bounces back, but even if he does, I don't expect him to be a dominant week in and week out player. I have no idea what Dayo Adengbo is going to give this team. Hopefully he's at least solid. Austin Booker's on IR. Dominic Robinson is healthy, I guess, so that's good. But if he's your third guy, I'm not feeling great about that. Is Daniel Hardy kind of a surprise guy that could help? Hopefully. But, yeah, I think it's edge, whether it's like getting a starting caliber player or at least raising the depth in terms of the floor of that group. Predict the score, Bears Vikings Monday night. Who wins and what is the final score? I want to hear you light up the chat on that one. So curious what you guys think. Super chat from Larry. Appreciate the 5. Do you think Shamar Turner could be a defensive end and be the pass rusher we need? Well, that was something I wondered on draft night, because early on at Texas A&M, he played defensive end. Then they kicked him inside. Dennis Allen did say after the draft that the initial focus is for him to learn both defensive tackle positions. So I don't, and especially with him getting hurt in camp and missing most of camp, if that's part of their plans, you almost would say that's probably not really going to happen this year. Maybe it could happen next year or late in the season. But I do think he's got the body type to move around. He's kind of like 290, 295. He's long, he's athletic, so I do think you could move him around. But I don't think they want to, like, throw too much on the rookie's plate right now. So I wouldn't anticipate that. Now, if you had a couple in-game injuries and he's active and you just need a guy who's done it before, like, yeah, you could play him in a pinch, but I don't think they're, like, looking into that as part of his, like, heavy development, at least currently. All right, last one here. Appreciate the 5. Great questions today. Hypergenesis, if Braxton goes down, does Wright shift over to left tackle and Trapilla at right tackle, FGBF Minnesota, F Detroit, Bears win 31-16? I don't think so, because if that was a backup plan, wouldn't Darnell Wright have gotten some reps at left tackle? To my knowledge, he has gotten 0 reps at left tackle in training camp. If that was kind of like plan B or C, I think you would have had to give him at least reps here and there on the left side. I think the bigger question is it Benedict or Trebillo if Braxton were to go down in the middle of a game? If it happened like in a practice, then I think, they would take some time to consider. If it happened, let's just say it happened Monday night, I would guess they'd go Benedict because he's listed as the backup left tackle. He was working a lot at left tackle, especially toward the end of camp, whereas Trapillo was not. If it happened like in the middle of the week, I could see them ramping Ozzie back up at left tackle and kind of seeing who they want to go with, but I do not think it would be Darnell Wright. That I feel pretty confident in. All right, appreciate all the questions. If you got more, you know where to find me. Twitter, Instagram, @HGramNFL. Give me a follow. DMs are open. Always down to chop it up with you guys, so hit me up over there and bear down. All right, halftime. 2 segments down, 2 to go. Appreciate you guys. A lot of good questions today, I thought, Colin.
Yeah. No, y'all were getting active.
It's nice when you get into the season, you can ask, matchup-related questions.
Yeah. The people are clearly feeling the buzz of it being less than a week away from.
I can only answer so many times if I want them to sign Zadarius Smith, which
really?
I do.
Hey, have you ever been asked, hey, do you think the Bears should trade for Trey Hendrickson?
Yeah.
Listen, we appreciate all those questions, listen,
yeah, they're not bad ones. It's just when you get close to the season, you're like, it's kind of nice to talk about other things, even though I do think they still need an edge rusher. But, 41-21, Antoine. If the Bears 40-piece the Vikings, we are going to party.
Yeah.
I may not sleep on Monday night.
I might.
The couch might be calling our name.
This chair might be calling my name. I might not be able to get up because we'll be honestly, if we're up that late partying, shoot. I mean,
it's going to be electric. If they score 40, we are going to go.
Honest question too. If you guys feel free to answer this in the chat. Scale of 0 to 100. Your confidence level going into week 1. 0 to 100. The Bears will pull it out week 1.
64. Okay. I would say I'm mildly confident. I do think they'll win this game, but I'm not going to sit here and act like I think it's a no-doubter. Minnesota's got a good roster, man. We know they're well coached. I'm mildly confident, but I can't sit here and be like, oh, they're winning no doubt.
We got Roberto Day saying 50, Denny Ed Kiss saying 65, Jake saying 67.
1 million from Steven Smith.
Steven Smith.
And yes, Daniel, Amari Cooper retired.
He did.
He practiced for a week with the Raiders and said, fuck this, I'm out.
Yeah. No, exactly. That's exactly what happened. I'm at probably around a similar. I'm probably a little slightly higher than you.
Okay.
The injury concerns, and again, final report, knock on wood, we're not wishing upon this. Christian Darrisaw and Harrison Smith, if those two are out, that's a huge blow for Minnesota in terms of their ability, to not only protect J.J. McCarthy, but if you think about the Vikings back end, obviously they extended Byron Murphy this past offseason. They really don't have much else back there outside of those two. So if he's out, and again, Harrison's turning 36, or he's 36, that could be a really big swing in this football game. So I'm probably at like a 73.
The Vikings secondary already has some questions.
Yeah.
If Harrison Smith is out, that's a pretty big deal. I mean,
yes.
I don't even know. Let me pull up their depth chart. Their third safety is either Theo Jackson or Jay Ward. Now, would they just put, Metellus is already listed as a starter. He kind of roams around. Plus, Jeff Okudah and Isaiah Rodgers are both going to play a good amount, it sounds like. You got Byron Murphy, who's good, but if Harrison Smith is out, That's the weakness of their defense, is the secondary.
By far.
So
you give Caleb some time to potentially dissect it.
Yep.
Especially, too, I mean, and again, I'm not sure who they have. I mean, I'm sure Harrison Smith will spend some time on Loveland / Kmet, but I mean, you could see the Bears maybe deploy more multiple tight end sets to maybe take advantage of those mismatches.
No doubt. Going to be interesting. By the way, the last time TJ Edwards missed a game was with an injury was 2020. He did sit in the season finale with the Eagles in 2021, but they were resting starters. So we'll see if he's able to get ready for Monday night. Was listed as a DNP today. So
Jake Cameron says, "You boys staying live for this season opener?"
No, we're not. We're not. But we'll have a couple other watch parties going on at Chat Sports. Our Cowboys channel will be live. Our Eagles channel will be live. Our Raiders channel will also be live, as they typically go live on Thursday Night Football. So check that out. I'm not feeling great. You guys can probably tell. I got a slight cold thing going on. So I am going to, a couple things, just notes. I'm going to have a post-game reaction on 4 verts to this game. So if you want to check out that, subscribe over there. And on Sunday, with the Bears playing Monday, we're going to do a little Red Zone wraparound stream on 4 verts and on our main Chat Sports channel. I'll be hosting that. One of our other producers, our lead producer, Sam Brown, no relation to Colin Brown, will be producing that. So if you guys want to come hang out for that live stream on Sunday, then of course Colin and I will be live, locked in, ready to go for Monday Night Football. What time is the Seahawks game, by the way?
So it's 3:25 midday against the Niners.
It's a big game.
Yeah.
A lot of divisional games this year.
A lot of divisional games.
Kind of like that.
It's a big one. Similar elk. I won't go too long on this. Big determining game for how the rest of the division goes. So it's similar to the.
I kind of like. I think it'd be cool if the NFL they've done it for Week 18 forever. But if you wanted to kick off Week 1 and bookend open and into the season all divisional games, I think that would be awesome.
The only thing that I would have a slight objection to, which again I'm for, the first game of the season needs to be a Super Bowl rematch. Like that's the only one where I'm like, that's.
Well, the only problem is that you don't always play the team you lost or beat in the Super Bowl.
It's true. I'm saying that should be like a rotation game.
Yeah. I guess the only issue, too, with what I just said is if they're going to keep this Brazil thing going for Week 1 or a Week 1 international game, I don't want a divisional game. Yeah. I know they did it this year with the Chiefs and the Chargers. Like, if I'm those teams, I'm kind of pissed that a divisional game is out of the country.
What if we go to 18 games, so we still have that last week of the season's divisional game. We have 2 buys. Every NFL team has a certain buy right before. Do you think before or after we have, like, divisional part 1? And then week 18 would be, or I guess that would be technically week 19. Wait, 20. Whatever week it is. Last week of the season, and then we have like a break, but we also have like a divisional week.
Okay.
Middle of the season.
Like a week 10.
Yeah, or something.
Week 10 divisional week. I could be down for that. I also think long term, they're going to try and make it where every team has an international game.
Agreed. Trying to expand, trying to branch out, show their
they're already doing a lot of them, but
a lot. Yeah. I mean, so we've got London, we've got Brazil, we've been in Mexico.
Spain is in the mix. I think Australia is coming next year, maybe.
Has Germany been in the mix, maybe?
Germany, yeah, there's been a couple games there. I think there's one there this year. I think the Dolphins played in Germany last year. Mexico, obviously. Brazil the last couple years. So, yeah, that's not going away. The NFL has become a global sport, and they are leaning into that. So, if anything, it's only going to get ramped up. But, all right, 2 more segments here, and then we'll get out of here. Appreciate everybody for hanging out. Coming up next, little reaction to an ESPN report pertaining to Caleb Williams and to Ben Johnson. So, we will discuss that here on Chicago Bears Now. On today's episode of Chicago Bears Now, ESPN's Jeremy Fowler had an interesting report, nugget, whatever you want to call it, when it comes to Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. Does Ben have a little trick up his sleeve, or a few tricks up his sleeve, pertaining to how he's going to call plays with Caleb now that the season is here? We will dissect that coming up here in just a moment. But I have a challenge for you. We are 96 subscribers away from our next milestone of 128,000 subs. You guys are incredible, whether you're subbed or not. But I know at least 40% of people that watch this show regularly are not subscribed. Change that. Hit that subscribe button. You're already watching us. The analytics tell us so. And it's free. We don't charge a dime. Let's hit 128K before kickoff on Monday night. I would appreciate it. And let's talk a little Ben and Caleb Williams. I'm Harrison Graham. Jeremy Fowler reports that Ben Johnson and the Bears plan on getting a little more creative in terms of the game planning and play calling for Caleb Williams now that the regular season is here. Let's get into the quote that he had via ESPN.com. He said, "Now that we're past the preseason, watch for the Bears to flash some creativity to maximize quarterback Caleb Williams. My sense from people in Chicago is that while head coach Ben Johnson would coach Williams relentlessly on the basics throughout camp, they would eventually play to Williams' strengths, utilizing his mobility and off-platform throwing as an off-script playmaker. Bears fans could see more of that in the regular season." And we've kind of heard this messaging all along. What is the messaging been? What has Ben told us? Declan Doyle reports from people tied to the Bears. They're going to throw the kitchen sink at Caleb. They're going to focus on the fundamentals, the footwork, living in the pocket, throwing the ball on time and on target. And then as you get closer to the season, which obviously they're in game prep mode right now for Minnesota, scale back what you need to scale back and kind of marry up his strengths with what they've tried to have him improve on. That's kind of been the plan all along. So I don't think this should shock anybody. Caleb Williams, the best part of his game coming out of college, and you would still say to now, is his ability to ad-lib and make explosive plays on the move. And the good news is, and we've seen flashes of it in the preseason, is he's improved a lot just with the basics, the fundamentals, the footwork, throwing the ball on time and on target, especially in that Bills game. He looks very, very comfortable. So I think this was always kind of the plan is we're going to throw the kitchen sink at this guy. We're going to challenge him. We're going to coach him hard on the basics of the quarterback stuff. You don't want to call it simple stuff, but like pre-snap, making checks at the line, 3, 5, 7 step drops, playing within the pocket. Then, yeah, you're pretty good at this other stuff already. Now that the season's closer, we'll lean into that as part of the plan as well. Some ways that you can lean into Caleb's strengths. Obviously, passing plays and designs that move the pocket. What was the first play against the Bills in that second preseason game, the first game Caleb played in Ben Johnson's offense? Just a little simple boot where Cole Kmet comes in the tight end drag, you just flip it to him. Very easy play. Not something where you have to sit in the pocket and dissect the whole field. Boots, sprint outs, plays where you kind of cut the field in half and you make the reads easier and Caleb can throw or run on the move. I think that's something you'll see more of. I think the quick passing game, which is obviously something that they've been working on for him to improve to play on time and on target, but I more mean like schemed up plays where it's like, hey, 1-2 read. Like you got a slant and like a little slot fade behind it. You just kind of pick the high-low and whatever matchup you like better, get the ball out. Like that's you don't want to call it easy, but that's relatively simple kind of NFL quarterback play. 2 reads within your same eyesight, if you will. Like when you're playing Madden, right? You see these schemes all the time. It's hard to look at the whole field. Oh, I got a slant here and I got a wheel behind it. If they're playing press, I'm probably going to throw the wheel. If not, I'm going to throw the slant to DJ Moore. Stuff like that. And then creative screenplays. Harrison, no more screens. Well, the screen is actually a big part of Ben Johnson's offense, and if you dial them up, if they're creative, if you have receivers willing to block, unlike Keenan Allen, and honestly at times DJ Moore, it sounds like he's bought in. We'll see. We know Zacchaeus is blocked. That was a big thing with Luther Burden. He was blocking his ass off. Those are easy plays that you can generate positive yards offensively and stuff that Caleb should all be able to handle. And the key is this. Marrying up Ben's concepts, which we know work. We've watched it in Detroit for 3 years, with Caleb's strengths as a different style of quarterback than Jared Goff. I think all of training camp, all of the offseason was like, hey, how can Caleb Williams improve on the stuff that like a Jared Goff type does? Because Goff can't move. It's like playing on time, getting the ball out, accuracy, all of that stuff. Understanding what he's seeing pre-snap, making those checks, that has been kind of the heavy emphasis. But now that the season is here, it's like, okay, which part of that that we've thrown on his plate can we handle? We'll keep that stuff. But also, oh, here's this other stuff that we know Caleb can do well. Playing with tempo is another one. That's when Caleb was at his best last year in the fourth quarter, making shit happen and just thinking less, right? When you're playing with tempo, no huddle, it's kind of just get up, go, make a play. Like that's when Caleb was at his best last year. So picking spots where you can play with some tempo throughout the course of a game, I think that's another area that Ben Johnson will lean into. Can't do that all the time because, if you play with tempo and go 3 and out, well, your defense starts to get tired. So it's all about understanding the balance and kind of threading that needle, if you will. And I think that'll be a big, big part of this whole thing. All right, more to discuss when it comes to Caleb and Ben and marrying this thing all up. But first, today's show is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Football is finally here, and I am fired up for some Bears football. Big college football fan as well. Made some money last weekend, hoping to continue that. Shout out to several players that I picked, including Josh Hoover, big-time TCU quarterback. And now I'm ready for the big fellas to get going as well. It's very easy to play Prize Picks as you just pick more or less on stat projections on 2 to 6 player lineups. If you get your lineup right, you can win up to 2,000 times your money. That's right, $10 can turn into 20,000. Prize Picks is also the inventor of the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Okay, 3-player lineup, week 1 style. Caleb Williams, I like him to throw a touchdown, so give me the more on half a touchdown pass. That's a goblin play. Those are pretty easy to hit there, but I'm going to throw that in there. I do think J.J. McCarthy, first career start, throws at least 1 interception, so I'll take the more of half an interception. And then Olamide Zaccheaus, I don't think the national people know how big of a role this guy could play, hammering the more on 20.5 receiving yards. $20 lineup to win $70. Usually it's 5x on a 3-player lineup, but with that goblin pick, a little bit less there, but I still lack it. 3.5x, prizepicks.com/CLNS. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. It's PrizePicks. It's good to be right. Okay, Caleb Williams, I wanted to throw this quote in there from his presser the other day. He said, there's no big plays that necessarily need to be made. We need to go out there and do our job. We need to run our routes at the right depth. We need to hold up in protection. I need to be able to deliver the ball, getting the ball out of my hands and allowing our guys to make plays and be special, which they are. And I think that's something that's been clear in the messaging from Ben Johnson, Declan Doyle, JT Barrett. Like, hey, we know you can make the Superman special plays when needed. But this offense, trust it. It's going to scheme guys open, play on time, play on target, and when you need to do the extracurriculars, when it's time to do that, when you identify a time to do that, yeah, we're going to lean into that as well. But, this offense works. You have the playmakers, and I think Caleb's bought into that. Like, hey, when I was at USC, we didn't have that much talent, especially the year after Jordan Addison. I kind of had to do this shit by myself. You don't need to do that, man. You got DJ Moore. You got Olamide Zaccheaus, who he's built a nice connection with. Rome Odunze, one-on-one, throw up the ball. He's probably going to come up with it more often than not. You got DeAndre Swift out of the backfield. You got 2 good tight ends. Offensive line should be improved. Trust what is being called and what the other 10 guys on the field are doing, and just play within the offense. And then on those occasions when it's time to be special, go be special. Knowing when to create is important. We know he can create. Don't need to do it on half the plays. He shouldn't take 68 sacks this year. He tried to do too much last year. We get it. The coaching was bad. The scheme was bad. How many times when we would look at the all-22 or the overhead angle, it's like, why are 3 receivers within 10 yards of each other? Shout out Shane Waldron. But this offense works. We saw it for 3 years in Detroit. I'm not saying it's the carbon copy offense, but you're going to see guys get schemed open, and it's up to Caleb to deliver the ball. It's up to the protection to hold up, and I think it's going to work. I really, really do when it comes to this pairing. How confident are you guys in the Ben Johnson-Caleb Williams pairing? Scale it from 1 to 10, 1 being not at all, this is going to suck, 10 being you are extraordinarily confident, no way it fails. Again, I think this will work. I think it's going to be a bumpy ride at times early on. Week 1's tough challenge against Brian Flores when you blitz the house and, you got to make quick decisions. It's not going to be easy from play to play. But I think we're going to see a strong landing. By the end of this season, I expect the growth to have been notable. I'm not going to say monumental. I'm not going to say historic. I think from what we saw last year, from week 1 to week 18 this year, we will look back and be like, Caleb improved a lot. I do think that he's more comfortable. He's confident. He can be the guy for this football team. These are my stat projections. 66.4% completion, so about a 4% increase. I know they're targeting 70%. You get me 65, 66 plus, I'll be happy. 4,100 yards and change. 26 touchdowns, 11 picks. I'm cool if the picks go up, if the touchdowns go up. Like, be more aggressive at times. 477 rush yards, similar to last year. I do think the Caleb Williams, this is a big part of his game in college, rushing for touchdowns. The fact he had 0 last year, I think they'll utilize that part of his game, and he'll probably just scramble for a couple as well. So that brings it to an even 30 total touchdowns. I think the 4,000-yard curse ends this year. I just think Caleb's too talented. Ben is too good of an offensive mind, and the pieces around Caleb are too good for him to not be a more efficient. I just do not see that being the case. So I think that that 4,000-yard barrier gets shattered finally for the Chicago Bears. And listen, it all starts on Monday night. Vikings a slight favorite as we're filming this right now. Over/under in this one, 43.5 points. So, Vegas basically telling you this is going to be 23-21, 22-21, something like that. So I picked initially 24-21. I'll have my final prediction before kickoff, so be on the lookout for that. I want to hear from you, though. What is your score prediction? Who wins? What is the final score going to be? Bears, Vikings, primetime, Monday night football. It just feels big, doesn't it? Just feels big. Feels big. Caleb Williams, J.J. McCarthy, a lot of storylines in this one. All right. Thanks for making it to the end of the video. That makes you a real one. Don't forget to subscribe on the way out. Let's hit 128,000 subscribers. See you guys soon. Bear down. All right, we got Jake. What happens if McCarthy outperforms Caleb? He outperforms Caleb. I mean, if it's by a large margin, there's going to be a lot of narratives, that's for sure. You do have to remember it's just one game, and even though JJ hasn't played, he has been in that system for all of last year and all of this year. But yeah, I mean, that would not be fun, right? It wouldn't be fun to see the reaction to it. It wouldn't be fun having to talk about it. I think in reality, it's just like, well, that sucks. Got to get off the map quick and get ready for Detroit. I mean, that's that's really what it would be. But we'll find out if it happens, right, Jake? The context of what happens would obviously be important, but that would not be fun to talk about, Colin. That would not be great.
No. Yeah, especially coming off the injury, like you said, making his first, regular season start. It'd be one of those things where it's just like, even if the Bears won, but maybe they won kind of like ugly to where maybe the defense maybe made a couple plays, DeAndre Swift maybe carry the load. Like, if we see, there's just no way. There's just no way that we could see remnants of last year going into this game. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not expecting Caleb to be, this amazing quarterback week 1 right off the jump. But there should be clear signs of improvement in this game.
Yeah.
And it's just that, and that's the thing. Like, could J.J. McCarthy outperform Caleb Williams? 100%.
That's one game. Anything can.
100%. It's just, if it's to the point where it's drastic. Like, J.J. looks awesome. Maybe he completes over 70% of his passes, throws how many touchdowns, and Caleb looks awful. Yeah, that'll stink. Yeah. But it also, I'm not going to pretend like, A, that determines the game itself, and B, that's going to be the case forever, necessarily. Now, again, we'll take it, context, as Harry said, but yeah, it would not be good.
Yeah.
It would not be good.
I think it's going to work. Not saying it's going to be hitting the ground running and just dominate from snap one, but I think we'll see enough signs on Monday that, like, even if it's a little choppy, that you're like, okay, like, you can see it. You're like, this is going to continue to click more frequently. So, big test. I mean, it's,
Huge.
Ben's had success against Flores, but I should have mentioned this too. One of Caleb's best games last year was against Minnesota at Soldier Field. threw for 340, had that ferocious fourth quarter comeback where they forced overtime, got the onside kick. That was one of his better games. How much does that carry over with the whole new offense? I don't know, but he's played Brian Flores twice. He played really well against him once, and not so much the other time. The second time, Karan Amagaji couldn't block me or Cullen, so that made it a little tough. But big game, big game. All right, it's time. My 5 Bears bold predictions for 2025. I reveal them next here on Chicago Bears Now. It is time for my annual Chicago Bears bold predictions. I got 5 of them here on today's show. My name is Harrison Graham. This is how it went last year. And 1 out of 5 when it's bold, okay. I mean, you'd like to hit at least 2. Not only did they not win a playoff game, they didn't make the playoffs. Austin Booker, had he been healthy starting week 1 this year, I actually wouldn't have minded running that one back. But being on IR, not going to predict 8 sacks. Bears lead NFL in takeaways. Remember, at the end of 2023, they had a ton of those. So I was like, okay, full season with Montez Sweat. That didn't work out. Caleb, 4,000 all-purpose, but not passing. The Bears did split with the Packers, and on the surface, that's not crazy bold, but when you haven't beat them in 7 years, it's at least somewhat notable. So I did hit that one. Producer Cullen, I reacted to your bold predictions that you did in about mid-July when it comes to the Bears this year. Before we get to mine, if you want to revisit these, does anything change here? Is this still how you're feeling across the board?
So, by the way, it should have been twice. Thanks, Matt Eberflus, for not for the sleep. They should have swept him last year. Look, these are my predictions. Caleb Williams breaks out. What does that mean? I think he clearly solidifies himself as a franchise quarterback. He is the guy moving forward. I think he's going to have some combination of either 4,000 yards and potentially also 30 touchdowns. Kyler Gordon, I think, leads the team's interceptions. Rome Odunze becomes wide receiver 1. Statistic-wise, he either leads in catches or yards over DJ Moore, but I think, it'll be obvious. We'll see it. Poles makes a splash trade at the deadline, and the Bears sweep the Packers. Those are my predictions.
Are you sticking with that?
We don't change around here.
Okay.
10 toes down, as people say.
All right, I like it.
Bears sweep the Packers.
All right, there you have it. I'm going to get into my bold predictions coming up, but I want to hear from you. What is your top Bears bold prediction for this year? Drop them down in the comment section. We'll be reading them. I want to hear from you. All right, bold prediction number 1. DeAndre Swift has over 1,500 total yards offensively, rushing and receiving combined. He wasn't that far away last year. Now, I don't think he'll have 253 carries. I think that'll probably come down a little bit, but I do think he'll be more efficient, average 3.8 yards per carry, better offensive line, better scheme. They've really emphasized him taking the in-between the tackles yardage if that's what the play calls for. We know he can catch the ball. That's always been a strength of his game. So I think he does rush for over 1,000. I don't know exactly how much, but between that and receiving, I think he gets over 1,500 all-purpose yards. I think he'll be more efficient, and I think he'll be more explosive. Obviously, we saw a lot of explosive plays last year. I think you'll see just as many, but also the regular plays. I don't think you're going to see as many of the negative plays that we saw last year from Swift. That's been a big emphasis from Eric Bieniemy and obviously Ben Johnson as well. So 1,500 all-purpose offensively for DeAndre Swift. I mentioned it on another video. This was a prediction last year, obviously, as well. I really, truly believe it. I think the curse ends. I think Caleb Williams will throw for 4,000 or more passing yards. It's time. The team's too talented. The coach is too good at what he does. Now, obviously, this is health dependent. If he misses 4 games, that's a different deal. But assuming he plays, I'll say at least 16 games, maybe misses 1 game or something, I think he gets there. Last year, despite a chaotic year, there was still a point in the middle of the year where it's like he's not that far off pace to potentially get there. He threw for over 3,500, had over 4,000 all-purpose. I just think it's going to happen because the completion percentage will go up. He'll be more efficient. Ben Johnson will just scheme more easy completions. for him, and he's just a year older now. He's going to be, even though he's learning a new offense, like he's played in this league for a year now. He's just going to make better plays at times. So I think it happens. I think he gets there. I'm not saying he's going to throw for 4,700 yards. I think he throws for like 4,100, and he tops that barrier this year. Better weapons, better offensive line, better coaching. A year older, Caleb Williams hits the 4,000-yard mark finally for a Bears quarterback. Will Caleb Williams throw for 4,000 plus? Is this the year it happens? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I really, really think it happens. All right, this player will lead the Bears in sacks. If you're wondering who that player is, I'm going to tell you after I tell you about today's sponsor. That is the Hall of Fame app. Today's show is sponsored by the Hall of Fame app. Football is back, and I don't know about you, but there is nothing worse than barely losing out on a multi-team parlay. It happened to me a few weeks back in week 0 of the college football season, but I teamed back up with HOF, and I had a much better week in week 1 of the college season, hopefully carrying that over to this weekend. Smart bettors rely on data, and the HOF app hands you powerful analytics at your fingertips to tilt the odds in your favor. HOF is your go-to for building smarter parlays. No more missing by one leg, as HOF gives you all the probabilities and insights you need to succeed. The HOF app was created by Ivy League sports geeks to let everyday sports fans be smarter. With the 4.9 rating in the App Store on over 7,000 reviews, it's safe to say the 1 million total users and counting are benefiting from the Hall of Fame app. For a limited time only, our listeners not only get a 7-day free trial, which is awesome, but they also get 50% off their first month when you use code CHAT at checkout. Just download the HOF app on iOS or Android, enter code CHAT, C-H-A-T, and you are all set. Link to the App Store to download the app is in the comments and description of this video. All right. I'd say this is pretty bold. I got Gervon Dexter leading the Bears in sacks. I don't know what that number is exactly. And part of this bold prediction is I just don't love the overall outlook on the pass rush. So you might need one of those interior guys to do it. I don't expect Grady Jarrett to play, like 90% of the snaps or anything. So I don't think he's the guy to put up those type of sack numbers. But I think Gervon Dexter, who's been ascending since he got here, has a chance to, push for 8 to 10 sacks. I think that could happen. He had 2.5 as a rookie, 5 last year. I think this scheme fits him better this year. Just on that progression, okay, 7.5. Can he hit 8? Can he hit 9? Would that lead the team? I think it's possible. Ideally, it's Montez Sweat because he's making $24 million per year, but I don't know what to expect out of Montez Sweat. I think he'll be better than last year, but is he going to be what he was 2 years ago with 12.5 sacks? I would probably bet against that. I like Dexter's fit in this scheme. If you told me he had 8, 9, 10 sacks, I think that's on the table, and it would be a huge boost for this team. So Gervon Dexter leads the Bears in sacks in 2025. Subscribe to the channel if you are a diehard Bears fan. This is the place for you. Daily content, multiple videos per day. We go live 3 times per week, every Monday, Thursday, and game day. So you're not going to want to miss out. We might even go live Tuesday this week because we like doing the day after the game. So be on the lookout for that. We got you guys covered. Subscribe right now. Okay, a not-so-good bold prediction. I think 3 players start at left tackle over the course of 17 games. Number 1, Braxton Jones won this job. Listen, if he plays like he has before and stays healthy, then okay, he's probably your 17-game starter. But A, he is coming off a significant ankle injury. Does that hold up? And B, while he's gotten a little bit better throughout the course of the preseason, I still don't think we've seen the best version of himself from previous years, which already wasn't a great player, right? It was an above-average left tackle, but I would say for most of the preseason, he played below average. That last preseason game, I think he was probably right around average, so you're hoping that continues to ascend. But I think that situation's fluid. You got the early bye week, so if it's a little choppy the first month, would Ben Johnson make a switch after the week 5 bye and go to a Theo Benedict or possibly an Ozzie Trapillo? If there's an injury, could a third guy get in there? The other guy of Trapillo or Benedict, who knows, Karan Amagaji perhaps, maybe even Joe Thuney if they had to go the nuclear option. I just feel like this is going to be a pretty fluid situation. Now, the good news is, assuming they don't go Joe Thuney at left tackle, the fact that he's playing left guard, I don't expect it to just be abysmal because Thuney should be able to help out whoever the left tackle is. Remember those reps where Braxton Jones is getting beat inside in the preseason? Sure, even if Tooney has to block another guy, he's probably going to be able to visually recognize that, and you might be able to at least get a punch on that guy, a little chip that should help it prevent from being a complete free rusher. But yeah, I just think with Braxton not looking completely like himself, with him coming off the injury, I would expect some fluidity there over the course of the season. And then this is an interesting one, but I do think there's a good chance this happens. I don't think it's both, and I'm not saying it's either, but I am predicting it. One of DJ Moore or Cole Kmet will be on a different team next year. One of these guys will be gone in 2026. That is a prediction I have. Part of that is just bodies, right? You drafted Luther Burden, which you probably didn't expect going into the draft. You drafted Colston Loveland, which maybe you weren't expecting that, but if he looks good, he's your tight end one moving forward. I think that's safe to say. And you have areas you need to improve on your roster elsewhere. And moving on from one or both of these guys frees up some cash. If you trade DJ Moore, you free up $16.5 million. Like that's one good starter or multiple good role players. Cole Kmet, $8.5 million. Now, if I had to guess out of these two from a money standpoint, like Cole's a Chicago guy. Could you convince him to take a minor pay cut and just stick around and be your tight end two for this team moving forward? That's certainly possible. But I just think every year you're balancing your resources. You might be pretty heavy at receiver, and if Colston Loveland at tight end, you could have a lesser tight end too if Loveland is the real deal. And look, how about this scenario at receiver? Zacchaeus has a very good year. Luther shows enough where he's ready to be that second guy. If Rome emerges and becomes your one, could you re-sign Zacchaeus for $5, $6, $8 million? You trade DJ. That's kind of a net clearance of $10 million. Like, okay, you go with Rome, Luther, and Zacchaeus moving forward. Again, I'm not rooting for any of this stuff. That's how these teams work. Like, you always have to allocate your resources in different areas. So, and what areas are those that you're going to need moving forward? You're going to have to get another good edge rusher at some point, whether it's in the draft or free agency. Left tackle, there's a real chance you don't have your long-term answer on this roster. Safety, all four of your safeties are free agents. Linebacker, you could be moving on from Tremaine Edmonds after this year. So, there's different position groups, running back, that you might have to allocate resources to. And if you have four really good receivers you feel good about, okay, if you trade DJ Moore, get a second-round pick, and clear out $16 million, I'm not rooting for it to happen, but I could see that scenario playing out. I want to hear from you. Who do you think is more likely to be traded next offseason? Type DJ for DJ Moore, CK for Cole Kmet. Like both. Would love them to be here long term, but I think those are two guys to keep an eye on as potential exits next offseason. That's going to do it for Chicago Bears Now. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Again, drop your bold predictions down in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe and bear down. Caleb throws for 350. JJ throws 2 picks Monday. Sign me up for that, DC Viper.
That'd be pretty cool. Also FGB, by the way.
How about this? Mozzie Smith expected to be inactive tonight.
I just saw that from Fowler.
What a flop of a pick he was.
Yeah. Jeez.
Apparently, Micah Parsons' mom is in attendance for this game tonight.
Really?
That is fascinating.
That is interesting.
All right.
Out of that, okay. Out of Harry's bold predictions, which one was y'all's favorite?
Yeah, and I want to get your reaction.
Yeah.
I reacted to yours on an episode. Give me kind of some quick reactions. We can throw them back on screen here. Which ones do you like? Which ones do you dislike? Which ones, feel more out there than others?
So 2 of these feel immediately like the favorites.
And happen?
Yeah. I want you to guess which one or which 2 I'm thinking.
Well, Caleb, because you had that one. So that's one. Moore and Kmet, one of those guys is gone. Is that your other one?
3 players started left tackle.
Okay.
I think it's a turnstile potentially this year. And I'm not saying that as like a negative
3
thing.
is still a lot.
Yeah.
If I said just 2, it's okay, a guy can get injured. But yeah, I mean, I hope that's not the case, but.
I do think it could be potentially more Kmet's last year. The thing about restructuring Kmet's deal, that could be a scenario which happens. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that, in the back of your mind, like,
and I
could be
like
an
both
option.
players. Like,
Right.
Look, it sounds shitty, but it's kind of ideal if Luther looks just awesome and ready for a huge role next year because, like, it gives you the flexibility to trade DJ while he still has value.
Yeah.
Like, if you could trade him for a day 2 pick and you have Rome, Luther, and bring back OZ to be your 3, like, I mean, I'm not rooting for it necessarily, but, like, this is roster management, man.
It
like,
is. It's
Chiefs
part of
traded
it.
Tyreek Hill, and people thought they were crazy, and they won 2 Super Bowls. Like, sometimes you trade really good players.
That is the way it goes. And look, I mean, it could very well happen. I do think Rome Odunze is going to take the mantle from DJ Moore at the conclusion of the season, excuse me. So that could be a possibility. DeAndre Swift. Interesting. I don't hate it because, to be honest, that was one of the ones that I was thinking. I wasn't going as high as 1,500, but I think I was more focused on, like, the rushing aspect of it. Like, I thought he was going to maybe get, like, 1,200 rushing yards or something.
Part of that, by the way, is just, like, Roshan's been out. Monangai's coming back, but, like, is he going to have a big workload early? Probably not.
Right.
He knows the offense. And, look, in an inefficient year last year, he still had 13-something hundred.
Yeah.
So, like...
No, I think it could happen.
If he has a slight decrease in volume, but let's say his rushing average is even just, like, 4.2, like, nothing crazy. Like, take 30 carries away, he's still going to be in that 1,000-yard range for rushing. I think if he hits 1,100 rushing, 1,500 is probably on the table because, in Detroit, how often do they just dump it off to the backs? I mean, Montgomery, Gibbs, they throw it to them a lot. So,
yeah. And then Gervon Dexter leading the team in sacks. I think this could happen. I'll just say this.
That's probably my boldest one, but again,
it could happen.
The pass rush, it's not like there's I mean, it should be Montez.
If Montez is not within at least 2 sacks of Gervon, if this one, comes to pass, that's a major problem.
If Montez has a year like last year, you got to pivot off him, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to get a ton for him, but let's just see. If they traded Montez Sweat next year, you would eat $12.5 million, save 12.8. I think you'd just cut your losses. Take like a 4th-round pick for him and just move on.
Yeah.
And
then you're looking at edge.
Yeah, I mean, if you told me today, like, or bullet to my head today, Harrison, what are you looking for the Bears to draft in the 1st round next year? The best fucking edge rusher available would be my first answer. And my second answer would be the best left tackle available. You're hoping some combination of Darnell or Ozzie, they can be your 2 tackles next year, but that seems up in the air at this point. So
they
need a young, talented edge rusher that they can develop. That's something Poles hasn't drafted early for whatever reason.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest, like, left tackle may be kind of closer in the discussion with that because, again, going into this potential next offseason, like, Tooney's another year older, like Jonah Jackson, what does he look like?
Yep.
Again, we don't know what Ozzie Trapillo will develop into, but yeah.
A dream scenario would be you can do what the Bucs did and just flip Darnell to left tackle and it's seamless. And Ozzie's your right tackle. That's probably the dream scenario, but they didn't give Darnell any reps at left tackle this year, so that's no guarantee. So,
what's y'all's favorite prediction though?
The Shamar Turner have edge. He played some in college, but the initial plan was not to use him as an edge rusher, and especially considering he missed all of camp, I would not expect to see that this year.
Not just as Bears are Swift or bust this year. Kind of scary. We need more depth at running back next year. I mean, look, I'm clearly higher on one of the guys on the Bears roster than probably a lot of people, but no, I think going into next season, depending on obviously how they play, like DeAndre Swift has been inconsistent throughout his NFL career. So, we talked about numerous guys the Bears could, either trade for, or they sign. They ultimately haven't up to this point. So could it be something where they're just like, hey, we trust the guys in the building, or maybe they just don't want to allocate those resources? Who knows? But, yeah, Steven says he loves the Swift yards. Favorite one is the Caleb one. Agree. Like, that one just needs to just get done and get over with. Like, the second it happens, like, obviously, it'll be a graphic or whatever. Everything gets put up, and it's just like
it's like some things in life. It's just like you need to just that doesn't need to be a talking point anymore. Like let's just move on from that.
Yeah.
Like if you ask me which one do I want to have happen the most, it's clearly that one. Let's just get that out of the way.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was fun. Good show. A lot of good questions from you guys today. Keep that up. We will be back live on Monday. Plenty of content between now and then. Major injury developments. We will cover that on the channel. So lock us in. We'll have some at-home content when necessary over the next couple of days. And then remember, Sunday, I'm going to be going live on 4 Verts for a little kind of red zone noon game wraparound reaction show. We'll kind of keep tabs on the early games on Sunday. It's week 1. It's going to be fun. Since there's no Bears game Sunday, that's what we're going to do. So come check out 4 Verts. Subscribe to the channel. We just crossed 11,000 subscribers. So rock and roll with us, and hopefully you'll join us over there. Otherwise, enjoy the game tonight, man. We got kickoff in like an hour and a half, baby. Cowboys, Eagles. Looks like rain's coming in, so I think I would pivot off my Dallas cover play that I predicted earlier. If it's a rainstorm, I don't expect Dallas to be a good running team this year. So having to be pass heavy in a rainstorm, not ideal.
Give me the Eagles.
All right, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Bear down.